Aloha family, my name is Kelsey and I serve here at One Love at the Children's Ministry as a teacher, and today I'm going to be going through the book of Jonah, specifically Jonah's prayer when he's in the belly of the fish, which is an Old Testament account and a prayer of one of the minor prophets. So in the ESV it reads, "I called out to the Lord out of my distress, and he answered me. Out of the belly of Sheol I cried, and you heard my voice. For you cast me into the deep, into the heart of the seas, and the floods surrounded me. All of your waves and your billows, they passed over me. Then I said, I'm driven away from your sight, yet I shall again look upon your holy temple. And the waters closed in over me to take my life. The deep surrounded me. Weeds were wrapped around my head and at the roots of the mountains. So I went down to the land whose bars closed upon me forever. Yet you brought up my life from the pit, O Lord my God. When my life was fainting away, I remembered the Lord, and my prayer came to you into your holy temple. Those who pay regard to vain idols forsake their hope of steadfast love. But I, with the voice of thanksgiving, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will pay. Salvation belongs to the Lord." And the Lord spoke to the fish, and it vomited Jonah out upon the dry land. So let's unpack this a little bit, giving you guys some context. At face value, I want to just put out there that Jonah is a real account, and yes, the fish is also real, and it's not a whale, as children's stories tend to put through. But Kings 14:25 mentions Jonah is a real and a really reluctant Hebrew prophet living during the reign of Jeroboam II, which is in 800 BC. So, in chapter 1, God gives Jonah a word to go to the great city of Nineveh, which is the capital of the Assyrian Empire, also known as modern-day Iraq, and the sworn enemies of the Hebrew people who are living in evil. And the way that a prophet works, or what his job description is to preach, to warn, to pronounce judgment, and call the people to repentance. So that's just what prophets do. Jonah doesn't want to do it. He's saying no to God. He's saying, I'm good, I'm going to flee the opposite direction. So he heads out to Tarshish, which is literally the exact opposite direction on a map from which God called him to. So Jonah does have knowledge of God, and he knows that God's a compassionate and merciful God, but he did not want that mercy to be given to his enemies, which are the Ninevites. But God still uses Jonah's initial disobedience to bring his people to repentance, from the mariners at the boat who throw Jonah off the ship to, the spoiler alert, the Ninevites who also believe in the name of the Lord at the end of the book. So from Jonah's prayer in chapter 2, this is what I observe and how I think that we can apply what we learn to live in submission in to God's will. So what to pray in times of trial and triumph? I say, number 1, call out to the Lord. This comes from verses 4 through 6. And it kind of reminds us to turn our eyes to God, pursue holiness and communion and relationship with Him. Number 2, to remind yourself of the truth and hope that Christ alone has done in your life, verses 2 through 7 and 8. And number 3, I'd say praising God and thanking Him for all He's done, which is something that David in the book of Psalms often does as well. And just as I kind of wrap up, I want to encourage you guys to read through the rest of the book of Jonah. It's a very short book. It has 4 chapters, and it showcases God in every detail. Remember that this is God's work, not your own, that saves us from the pit of despair, and to pray the way that Jonah models this. Always give thanks to the Lord because He is patient, He is sovereign, and He loves and cares for you very, very much. Aloha. Thank you.